Hello learners, we continue with last part of the working capital management, that is receivables management and inventory management. As you know, receivables and inventory are the two primary components of current assets which need proper management, and one of the aims of this particular management, that is receivables management and inventory management, is to ensure liquidity profitability trade off. So, let us first understand what is receivables management and then inventory management. As you know, the moment a company sells the goods on credit, receivables will get generated. They are also known as trade debtors or sundry debtors. One of the purpose of selling on credit is to boost the sales. Another purpose is to meet the industry or to meet the competition, because sometimes it happens, although company might not be willing to extend the credit to customers, but due to the industry trends, due to the competition in the industry, they are forced to grant the credit. And the moment a company grants a credit, that means the moment a company is selling goods on credit, it involves investment of the company in the receivables. And I hope you remember, when we were estimating working capital requirement, we had calculated level of debtors at cost, particularly at cash cost. So, one thing is sure, the moment a company grants a credit to its customer, it will involve financial consideration. Therefore, we need to go for cost benefit analysis before suggesting any kind of credit policy. In general, if you ask me what is a credit policy, credit policy means that document or that guiding rules which guide the manager to take a decision whether to grant a credit to a customer or not, and how much credit has to be granted. So, it is a plain and simple document specified by the top management of the company, that when the manager can take a decision to grant a credit to the customer, number one, and how much credit has to be granted. In general, credit policy means different parameters written for the purpose of guiding the managers to decide whether to grant the credit or not. Now, before proceeding further with the credit policy elements, always remember, receivables management will have costs and benefits. When we say receivables management has cost and benefits, it means a finance manager or marketing manager or both put together in consultation with each other have to decide the credit policy, because finance manager will look into the financial aspects, whereas marketing manager will look into the competition and the market aspect. Receivables involve two type of things, costs and benefits. Now, what are the elementary costs in receivables? That is number one, collection cost. Because take a scenario, a customer comes in a showroom, buys the goods and pays the cash. So, immediately cash is realized, whereas a customer comes, buys the goods and he will pay in future after 20 days, 30 days or 24 days. Then definitely the seller has to initiate the efforts to collect the money, and the cost involved in collecting the money from receivables is called as collection cost. So, it may be follow up cost or cost involved in the collection of the money or bank charges or something like that. Then default cost. By chance a scenario might be there or a situation might be there that the credit customer fails to pay the money, then company will have to incur the bad debts, that is called as default cost. Or it may be there delayed payments are there. Due to delayed payment, definitely more interest cost is involved, more cost of capital is involved. So, default cost or delinquency cost will be if customer fails to pay the money in time and company has to incur the losses, or loss of opportunity when there is a delay in realizing the money from credit customers. Now, capital cost. Capital cost is basically opportunity cost. When we say opportunity cost, cost resulting from the benefits foregone from the second best alternative. For example, if a company is selling goods on credit of 100 crore selling price and cost of that is 80 crores and credit is granted for 6 months period, it means 80 crore rupees of the company are blocked into debtors for a period of 6 months. However, this 80 crore could have been invested somewhere else and company might have realized some return, say 10%, 12% or 13%. So, what will be the cost of financing the receivables? That benefits foregone from not investing this 80 crore somewhere else. So, that is capital cost we can say in the form of opportunity cost, and sometimes it may be a direct capital cost. When I say direct capital cost, definitely it will be company might have borrowed this 80 crore rupees and company is paying interest on that. So, that kind of things are considered in the capital cost. So, in general these three are the costs in managing the receivables. However, receivables provide the benefits also. The moment a company sells on credit, there is a 99% chance sales will increase, and increased sales means company's top line will increase and it will have result on the company's bottom line as well. Profits are also likely to increase. So, these are the costs and benefits associated with the receivables, and these costs and benefits have to be managed with the help of receivables management. So, properly receivables management means applying those tools and techniques, strategies and policies so that receivables can be managed effectively. We can plan how much investment we have to block into the receivables. We can design credit policy. We can design collection efforts. All those things are the part of receivables management. Then word again and again we have speaking credit policy. So, this credit policy is of the company, not of the nation, because every nation also has a credit policy. So, we are not talking about that credit policy, we are talking about credit policy of a firm. Credit policy, simply I told you earlier also, a document which provides the guidelines to a manager to decide whether to grant the credit or not and how much credit has to be granted. And there are the parameters in the credit policy. Now, these parameters translate into two parts: credit standards and credit analysis. When I say credit standard, company might have fixed certain standards for granting the credit. What are these credit standards? We will see. And then credit analysis. That means what kind of analysis a finance manager or marketing manager has to undertake before granting credit to its customers. Now, credit standards. The term credit standard represents the basic criteria for the extension of credit to a customer, and it might include classification of the customer into three categories. Classification of the customer into three categories. So, credit standard will primarily mean classifying the customers into three categories. Now, what are these three categories? As you know, a company has a set of customers, present customers and prospective customers. Now, whether it is a present customer or prospective customer, we can classify the customers into three categories. A category customers are the one who are prompt in making the payment. They are not likely to default, top class customers which have got the good credit rating, good goodwill in the market, better goodwill I will say in the market. Now, these customers are not likely to default any day, and every company is happy to extend credit to these type of customers, because while granting credit to these customers will involve low collection cost, low delinquency cost, hence administrative cost is low, bad debts are almost zero. Whereas C category customers are the one who are likely to delay or likely to default. That means if you give credit to them, they might not pay you money in time. So, your capital cost will increase, your collection cost will increase, and there is a probability that few of the C category customers might not pay you back the money. So, bad debts losses will be there, delinquency cost will be there. And in between we have B category customers who are average, who are average between A and C. Now it is up to the policy of the company whether company is having a strict receivables policy. Strict receivable policy means company will grant credit only to a category of customers, whereas loose knitted credit policy or relaxed credit policy, which we say, a relaxed credit policy will say we will grant credit to all type of customers. Now both the policies have pros and cons. A company following strict policy, that means giving credit only to a category of customers, most likely will have low sales as compared to the other company who is having liberal credit policy. Whereas the company who is having liberal credit policy is most likely to have more bad debts as compared to the other company who is having strict credit policy. So this is the way company can decide their credit standard. Now relaxing the standards again is a matter of cost benefit analysis. That means if we begin with stringent or strict credit policy and subsequently we are thinking to relax it towards the C category customers also, then definitely the moment we move towards the C category customers, there is a more probability sales will be more, profits are likely to be more, but at the same time cost will also be more. Therefore, we need to go for the cost benefit analysis. So at this point, I will tell you, a finance manager has to strike a proper balance between liquidity and profitability. Liquidity and profitability. Now on this side we say we have level of debtors. Level of debtors. And on this side we have cost. Now think of a scenario when your level of debtors are very low, then definitely your cost is low. And which type of cost? Cost of collection, bad debts cost, all that is low. So cost of liquidity is this one. So this is cost of liquidity, and this is cost of illiquidity. This is cost of illiquidity. When I say cost of illiquidity, that means your profits will be comparatively low. Sales will comparatively be low. You will be saying no to C category customer, B category customer. So you are foregoing the opportunity to gain something. Therefore, your cost of illiquidity is high. But the moment you move towards this pole of the graph, your receivables are very high. As a result, cost of liquidity is high. Your more funds are blocked into receivables, more opportunity cost, more benefits from the increased sales. But your illiquidity cost will be low. So this is the way cost of liquidity will increase because more funds are blocked, but more chances of bad debts are also there. Cost of liquidity is high, but cost of illiquidity is low. You are not foregoing any customer. You are serving to every kind of customers. So now, always remember there exists an optimum credit policy. An optimum credit policy is the one at which cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity are minimum. So this is total cost. So this total cost is minimum, and that level of credit policy is optimum credit policy. This is basically called as striking a balance between liquidity and profitability. Liquidity means ensuring sufficient availability of resources so that my sales and production function continues smoothly. Whereas profitability means ensuring that we have enough returns on our investment. And that's where optimum credit policy will be at this level. You are foregoing some liquidity and you are foregoing some profitability. So that is the way credit standard decision is taken. Then comes credit analysis. Credit analysis basically aims at deciding or checking the collateral value. That means if you are granting credit to a customer, you must know what are the assets with the customer which can be used in case of emergency to recover your debts. So does he having any kind of asset or not? So that is collateral value. Credit track record. What is the past track record of the customers in the market? So there are certain customers who will not have the good goodwill in the market. Their goodwill will be very poor. So you will hesitate to grant the credit to them. So, credit track record of the customer, and then capacity to pay or capacity to repay. It means if you give credit to a customer, is he generating sufficient revenue? Is he earning sufficient profit to pay you back the money? If there is a probability that yes, he will not generate sufficient revenue, he will not generate sufficient profits, then you might hesitate to grant a credit to him. So, these are the credit analysis decision, or this is the way we analyze credit worthiness of a customer, and then we take a decision whether to grant the credit or not. So, these are the two parameters, credit standards and credit analysis are the helping tool for a finance manager to decide whether to grant a credit and how much to grant a credit. Then comes credit terms. Credit terms will include three parameters. Credit period means for how much duration we are granting the credit. So, in general, credit policy is written like this: net 30. So, what is the meaning of net 30? It simply means if a customer chooses this policy, he will buy the goods today and he will pay you after 30 days. So, till 30 days there is no penalty, no interest charges. However, if a customer makes a delay beyond 30 days, then definitely he is liable to pay you the penalty or interest as per the provision. So, one kind of credit policy might be this net 30. So, it means customer has to pay net payment in 30 days. Then cash discount. Sometimes we provide cash discount. It means we might give an offer to the customer that if you pay immediately, if you buy on cash, you will get 1% discount, else you can go for net 30 policy. So, it is no credit period, you will get 1% discount, and if you choose the credit period, then you have to forego the discount. And then third is blend of these two, cash discount period. Policy may be like this: 2/10 net 30. Now, how do we crack this particular phrase or interpret this particular phrase? Customer is buying from you today on credit. If he pays within 10 days, he will get 2% discount, else he has to pay in 30 days. So, it is an example, it is not a standard that okay, every company does it like this. You might have it like this: 0.5/5 net 24. This means if you pay within 5th day or by the end of 5th day, you will get 0.5% discount on the total bill amount, else you can pay by 24th day, no discount. However, if you delay beyond 24th day, yes, penal interest will be there. If in this case, if you pay beyond 30 days, penal interest will be there. So, that is the way we define credit terms. So, it will include credit period, cash discount, and a mix of that cash discount period. So, that is how we read and interpret the credit policy. So, that was about a receivables management. So, one thing is clear, receivables management has one single objective: ensuring liquidity, profitability. An optimum receivables policy is the one at which sum total of liquidity cost and profitability cost is minimum. Then the same fundamental, because inventory is also crucial. Inventory might include raw material, semi-finished goods, finished goods, and stock of certain spare parts. So, we keep aside the spare parts. Generally, every company does not maintain that, but yes, companies do maintain the inventory, and there are basic three types of inventory: raw material, semi-finished goods, and finished goods. Now, aim of inventory management is to ensure liquidity and profitability. By liquidity, we mean having sufficient stock of all the kind of inventory items so that production and sales process can continue without interruption. Whereas, ensuring profitability means having optimum investment in inventory elements so that we are not paying unwanted cost of capital. Because when you stock the goods in bulk, certainly cost of capital is there. Maintenance cost will be there, carrying cost will be there. It means inventory management will involve basic two type of cost. One is the purchase cost and another is management cost, particularly inventory management cost. Inventory management cost comprises of two things: ordering cost and carrying cost. Although subsequent slides also deal with this one, but yes, to define the things, inventory management basically involves deciding about level of inventory of these three items. It involves two type of costs. Purchase cost means how much you pay to the supplier for buying the goods of any kind. Then management cost for inventory is ordering cost and carrying cost. Ordering cost basically means whenever you place an order to a supplier, you will place the order today, he will dispatch the goods by courier or by transport, and then you will get it unloaded in your godown. So all the cost right from the moment of placing the order till the moment you receive the goods in your godown are called as ordering cost. And generally these are per order, or these are given ordering cost per order. So it might include in transit insurance also, loading charges, unloading charges, transportation costs and everything like that. Whereas carrying cost means if you hold on an average 1 unit in your godown for 1 year, that is 365 days, how much you are spending on that? Just think of a scenario that you are dealing in the business of ice cream. Now, if you store 1 unit of ice cream, that is 1 liter of ice cream throughout the year in your refrigerator, it will certainly cost you electricity charges, refrigeration charges, refrigerator maintenance charges, warehouse rent and all that. So all those costs are carrying costs. So cost of maintaining the inventory in your godown is called as inventory carrying cost. It will include insurance of the inventory also, godown rent, safekeeping of the godown, preservatives to use to preserve the inventory and all that. So all that is called as carrying costs. So these costs have to be kept into consideration while taking an analysis how much to order and when to order. Now objective, I already told you, liquidity profitability trade-off. That means to minimize investment in inventory and to meet the demand for products by efficiently organizing the production and sales operations. So again, liquidity profitability trade-off, and the same graph we can talk about. So this graph is universal graph for the inventory management, the point at which sum total of liquidity cost and illiquidity cost. So this is the cost of liquidity and this is the cost of illiquidity. This is the cost of illiquidity, and this is sum total of both of these. So this is level of inventory. So the point at which total cost of inventory management is minimum is called as optimum level of inventory, and the same is also called as economic order quantity when I discuss subsequently. But yes, it is optimum level of quantity, order quantity, or optimum level of inventory also. So optimum level of inventory is the one at which sum total of cost of liquidity and cost of illiquidity is minimum. That level of inventory is optimum level of inventory. Then cost of holding inventory, that means inventory management cost, basically it is ordering cost and carrying cost. So here basically holding particularly means inventory management. So few people call it as inventory holding cost, or few people call it as inventory management cost. So ordering cost, I told you, it is always fixed, how much we incur for placing an order. That means cost from the moment of placing the order till the time inventory is received in the godown. And whereas carrying cost is variable cost, it is per unit, it is holding inventory item in the storage at least for 1 year. So we simply say average inventory holding cost is how much we spend in holding the inventory, carrying the inventory in our godown on an average 1 unit for 1 year. So now the knowledge about these costs can help us in deciding economic order quantity. Now what is economic order quantity? That quantity of order. Now first of all, if you think a company needs 12,000 units in a year. Now should it buy 12,000 units in one go? Because consumption or use of the inventory item will take place slowly over the period of 12 months. So should it buy 12,000 units in one go, or should it buy 6,000 units twice in a year, or 2,000 units 6 times in a year, or 1,000 units 12 times in a year? It all depends upon the decision coming from the level of optimum level of inventory. So one concern with the finance manager or inventory manager is that deciding about economic order quantity. So EOQ, economic order quantity, is that level of inventory at which sum total of ordering cost and carrying cost is minimum. And how do we decide it? There is a small formula also, but our purpose is that level of inventory order at which sum total of ordering cost and carrying cost is minimum. So when I say 12,000 units are required, I must have some more parameters also to decide EOQ, but yes, should I place an order for 12,000 units or less than 12,000 units? EOQ will help me for that purpose. So this is the mathematical formula for calculating economic order quantity. Here A is the annual usage or requirement of the inventory in units. B is ordering cost per order. Remember, it is always ordering cost per order in rupee terms. And C is carrying cost per unit per year. I have explained you earlier meaning of ordering cost and carrying cost. Let us take a hypothetical example in which A is equal to 12,000. B is 10 rupees per unit and C is, let us say, 200 per order. So question is simple. A company needs 12,000 units. So these are the units of an item. Might be purchased at 1,000 rupees per unit, 5,000 rupees per unit. So that purchase price right now has no relevance. In total, company will need 12,000 units in a year. Ordering cost per order is, so let me change it because 10 seems to be very low, 1,000 rupees. Ordering cost per order is 1,000 rupees. That means whenever we place an order, we have to spend 1,000 rupees. If 12 times orders are placed, 12,000 rupees will be spent in a year. Now whether we will place it 12 times or not, we can see that. And carrying cost per unit per annum is 200. It means on an average, if 1 unit is stored in the godown for 1 complete year, it will cost the company 200 rupees. So we can plug in the values into this one. EOQ is 2 times A times ordering cost upon, so this whole thing is divided by C. So this basically, you can write it like this, 2AB upon C and root of that. Now if I solve it out, so we get it 2 times 12,000 times 1,000, I get it this value divided by 200 and root of that. So it is 346 units. 346.41 I am getting it. So you can round it off to lower decimal, 346 units. It means every time whenever a company has to place an order, it should place the order for 346 units. We can cross verify our calculation. 2 times 12,000 times 1,000 upon 200 and root of that, I get 346. So that is the way every time when company places an order, it must place the order for 346 units. So you can see how many orders company will be placing. We need 12,000 units and we should place order for 346. So 12,000 upon 346. So there will be around 34.68 orders. There will be around 34.68. So 35 orders in a year. So that is the way economic order quantity is decided. So dear learners, keep on practicing these things. Although there is a lot more in this one, but in this course, this much is sufficient, and I hope you could understand receivables management and inventory management. Thank you.